The Gina and Matty podcast.
We have been waiting for this person this morning. Very excited and very honoured to be joined on the phone this morning by the Prime Minister, Mr. Anthony Albanese. Mr. Prime Minister, are you there?
I am indeed. Good morning to you. Looking forward to being on the coast this morning.
Yeah, well, you are off to the Peninsula Urgent Care Clinic today.
I am. It's one of the 58 we've put in place around the country, and today I'll be with, of course, the good doctor there. It's fantastic that you've got a local member in Dr. Reid, who, of course, served and continues to do a bit of work.
He does.
Medical support. He was there at Wyong Hospital for a long period of time, but he's doing a fantastic job promoting healthcare in particular. And today, the birthday of Medicare, we have good news as well, which is our tripling of the bulk billing incentive for Medicare means that more people are seeing the doctor for free. Some 360,000 additional people in November and December alone. And bulk billing was in free fall, but we've not only arrested the decline, it's increasing by 5% on the Central Coast alone, and that's made a big difference.
Well, it was a big concern there, Prime Minister, with the cost of living and people not being able to afford to go to a doctor, maybe skipping, appointments that they should be going to, not buying the medication because it's so expensive. Does that help with this?
Oh, it certainly does. So Australians have saved $250 million since we introduced our cheaper medicines plan. That took place in January last year, so making an enormous difference. Something actually dropping in price from $42.50 down to $30, making a difference. The tripling of the bulk billing incentive is making a difference. The 11% drop in childcare costs that has been found since July 1, that's making a difference. But, of course, our tax cut plan for every Australian taxpayer to get a tax cut will also make an enormous difference. Some 66,000 people in the Robertson electorate, and 85% of people on the coast will make a difference because they'll get a bigger tax cut.
With the tax cut, there's a lot of buzz around about these stage 3 tax cuts, broken promises, that kind of thing. Do you think that there's more smoke than fire when it comes to this broken promise? Because to me, I just a normal dude that doesn't quite get everything right, Mr. Prime Minister. But I look at it as like, okay, it's just politicians maybe going back on their word. We're used to that. That's been something that's been happening for years. But people going, okay, he's broken a promise, but they don't understand that they're actually going to be okay about it. Is that? Do you think what's sort of missing in the clickbait headlines?
Well, this is something that happened 2 elections ago, and so this was a Liberal Party plan for different stages of tax cuts. The economy has changed in the last 5 years, and you can't run around. I've got a responsibility as Prime Minister not to say, oh, well, there's cost of living pressures out there, but I can't do anything about it. I can do something about it, and we are doing something about it. Making sure that every taxpayer, not just some, gets a tax cut is good policy. People on average incomes will get double the tax cut that they were going to get, and it will particularly benefit people on the coast, in our regions. This isn't an area where there's a whole lot of people earning my income, earning over $200,000 a year.
Yeah, definitely not.
And it will make an enormous difference. And guess what? Those people will shop in the local small businesses. They'll contribute to the local economy because if you're a lower middle income earner, you're not saving any tax cut.
No.
You'll spend it, and that will have benefit for business as well. There'll be increased labour supply. This is good policy, and it's not an easy decision. I get that. I get that it was going to be contentious, but it's the right decision, which I am taking and the government's taking for all of the right reasons.
For me, I try and put it in my terms. It's kind of like It would be a big call for you to do, because it's like the parents that like promise their kids something and they're like, okay, we're going to go to the water park. We're going to go to the water park. We're going to do that in a couple of years. And the kid's like, yes, we're going to go to the water park. Then you have to get together and go, oh no, we can't go to the water park. Do you sit in a room and go, how are we going to break this to the Australian public, knowing that we've promised them something, but then we're going to go back on our word about it? And how do you manage the expectation then?
Well, instead of going to the local water park with a few sprinklers, we're going to a theme park. We're going to Wet and Wild.
Look at that. FM analogies everywhere, Mr. Prime Minister.
Where everyone's going to get to go, not just some kids.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to get to go. The whole class, if you like, will get to go. And they'll get to stay there for longer. They'll get bigger benefits.
Yeah.
That is what this is about. Is it good policy or not? And if you do something, as I said, the world, the economy has changed in 5 years. We've had a global pandemic. We've had a war in Ukraine. We've had a range of interest rate increases, and people know that that's the case. People know that the Reserve Bank governor, the former incumbent there, told people that there would be no interest rate increases until this year, until 2024.
Then what did we have, 8 or 9? What did we end up getting?
13.
13, yeah, wow, okay.
So it has placed pressure on cost of living, and my responsibility is to have the guts to make the right decision.
Right.
And that is what we have done.
You did mention cost of living and shopping across the Central Coast. Like you've got the insurance companies and energy companies still hiking their prices. Petrol's through the roof. Grocery shopping is another thing that Gina and I have spoken about quite a lot on this show, is how expensive it is to go shopping at the moment. But then you hear that the farmers aren't taking any extra money. They're not getting any extra money out of it. If we're paying more at the checkout, the farmers aren't getting that coin, Prime Minister. Is there something you can do there to have a look at, well, what's happening?
We certainly are having a very strong look at it and empowering the ACCC, which is the competition body, basically, to have a look at what they can do, because we want to make sure that if farmers are getting less for what they're selling, then that should be passed through at the checkout to customers. And we want to make sure that that occurs. We had good news yesterday in that inflation has moderated now to 4.1% in the year to December. And that is very good news. It's down from 5.4% in the September quarter. So it's heading in the right direction.
Could that mean an interest rate cut?
Well, of course, it's made independently by the Reserve Bank, but it's the key.
Yeah.
So we have had a plan to provide cost of living relief whilst putting that downward pressure on inflation. And that is why this plan as well on tax, why it's revenue neutral, because we want to make sure that that ongoing pressure that we've had to bring inflation down is having the right impact, and it certainly is. There's more work to do, but the plan is working, and that is very positive news. The Reserve Bank will meet soon.
Yep.
They meet, of course, next Tuesday. And what it means now is that the projections certainly are, without preempting that decision, that interest rates will stay where they are. But I want to see inflation brought back down to that 2 to 3% range is the objective.
Yeah.
And we're getting close when we hit 4.1.
Now, our guest this morning is Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Something you wouldn't have to worry about the cost of living is if you won the $200 million Powerball tonight. That's for sure.
Prime Minister, it's Gina Jeffries here, and this morning we've been giving our listeners a chance to win a ticket in the Powerball for tonight for the $200 million. And the big heavy-hitting question I have for you, Prime Minister, is do you buy a ticket in the $200 million lotto? And if you win it, what do you do? Like, a lot of people want to give up their job.
No, well, I don't buy a ticket. I think that it might be controversial if I won the $200 million. So I don't buy a ticket, but I sincerely hope, and I'm sure that Emma and Gordon there on the coast would be hoping that one of their constituents wins. And I just hope someone who's a battler wins the big bucks tonight, or I know that who knows what you do with $200 million.
It's fun to think about it, though, isn't it?
I know what I do.
Indeed.
I know what I do. I tried my hardest to find some Taylor Swift tickets. Now, I've heard a rumour, Mr. Prime Minister, that you are a huge Swiftie. Am I barking up the right tree?
Yeah, you are right. I DJ'd a bit, as I think you know. I think we've spoken about that before.
Yeah.
And if you want to get for charity, or often I'll do it for the local PNC of my local primary school. If you want to get little kids up dancing, just play Shake It Off, and they go off and they do all that. They do all the hand moves and everything, and they know the rap bit. They know everything, and that got me listening to the lyrics, of course. She's actually a great songwriter, and then I really got into folklore, and when she brought out folklore and
lockdown albums.
Yeah, they were awesome, and it's really quite comforting listening to it while travelling. I spent a lot of time on the move, of course.
Yeah. So does that mean
the last album as well was just Midnight?
Does that mean we're going to see you at either the Sydney or Melbourne concert, Mr. Prime Minister? Are you going to be going along?
The plan is to try to see Tay in Sydney.
Yep.
And Jodie, my partner, is very much. She's a good coastie, of course.
Yep.
King Cumber High School and
represent
Woy Public School. She, of course, is a very loyal coastie and a loyal Swiftie as well.
Okay, so there's a lot of desperate parents out there, including me. So it would be remiss of me, and my 9-year-old daughter would be shooting me if I didn't say, I know you are a tragic South Sydney Rabbitohs fan. I'm the ground announcer and on-field presenter for the mighty Manly Sea Eagles. So if you somewhere can't go along to that Taylor Swift concert and you have those spare tickets, I would happily...
You expect me to give it to a Manly supporter?
Well, I would. Round 16.
Worse, you could have said Roosters.
Oh, gosh, no, I'm not that bad. Round 16, the Rabbitohs are playing the Sea Eagles. I'd be more than happy to wear a Bunnies jersey while doing the announcing if you can't go along to that concert and, you know what, hooked an old mate up on the radio. Look, I'm just throwing it out there, Prime Minister. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's a very big call you're prepared to make there. I used to go to with my cousin, Karen Jane, who might be listening. She's a coastie. She lives up there on the Central Coast. She's older than me. She used to take me to Brookie. I used to catch the bus down to Manly South games, and I'd sit there as a little boy with my South Sydney jumper with number 1 on the back for Eric Sims, and we would cheer at Brookie Oval, and I'd sit in amongst the mass of Manly supporters, and I've got to say, they were always very nice to a little boy in a Bunnies jumper.
Oh, well, that's good to hear, Prime Minister. We thank you so much for your time this morning. Have a great time on the coast today. I know Medicare's 50th birthday and you are going to the Peninsula Urgent Care Clinic today. So enjoy your time here. And I know you went to, because I work with Sam Mack on Sydney Weekender, and I know you went to Hawke's Brewing Co. with him on our anniversary special. But we got some great beers up here, mate. Make sure you go to Hawkesbury Brewing Co. or Six String Brewing or the Central Coast Brewery while you're up here. Take a 6 back home because we make good beers here too, mate.
It's always good to be on the coast. Really looking forward to it.
The Gina and Matty Podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.